So yeah, Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
No this time.
I like
simple
the
Evil Dead.
recap that they do right away.
Yeah.
The budget is increased.
Budget is increased. I think. I think
Stephen King.
The first film was $350,000. This one was $3.5 million. They got to make for it.
Yeah, Stephen King bankrolled it.
Yep.
He was such a big fan of the first one. So, but okay, so
it's kind of like a soft reboot to the series. You could say.
I was gonna say this is like I was talking about reboot quills, but this is the first ever reboot quill.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anything in recent memory that makes me go, yeah, they basically kind of went, I like this. Mm-hmm. Let's redo this. Let's go here. I feel like it makes a better movie, though.
It's great that the first time we watched these two movies, we were so drunk out of our mind that we thought we put on the first movie again.
I know. I remember the first 5 minutes.
What the fuck? I thought I put on the sequel.
Yeah. What? I can't. Yeah, no. It's not the same movie because there's only two people in the car. Oh, yeah. That's such a great night.
That was a great night.
That was one of those personal victories right there.
That was.
Yeah.
God, that was a great night.
Yeah.
Really wish we could do all three that night. We were going for. I think we passed on the second, didn't we?
Yeah. I don't remember finishing the second one.
No. I remember blacking out and waking up to the credits.
I don't even remember that. I remember just... I remember getting to the tree, and I remember thinking to myself, I hope the tree doesn't rape her. And then out. Because the tree in the second movie, like I said, looked amazing.
Yeah.
Knowing now that the budget was $3.5 million, that was money well spent, because fuck. But my complaint would be with the actual Deadites. They looked they looked faker, a lot cheesier.
Yeah.
Like when Sam Raimi's brother plays Henrietta, and she's introduced, right away I was like, oh yeah, that's right, because Cheryl was the one that was in the basement. That's right.
In the first movie,
That's right. So anyway, Henrietta, the wife of the archaeologist, she's in the basement, so when she comes out, immediately I go, oh, that's Sam Raimi's brother. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing I said, so that was a knock right away. And then two, while the money was better in the special effects, obviously, I don't know, I liked the really gross masks that they were wearing.
Yeah,
you know?
And that was kind of like my, even though this was 87, right? 87?
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit of years later after the first movie. The amount of stop motion in it made it feel older. It brought me back to, the Ray Harryhausen, Jason the Argonauts, and Clash of the Titans days.
Actually, yeah, no, the part where his girlfriend is dancing around with her head off.
Yeah, and so it felt...
That was painful to watch. I remember being like, how long is this?
Yeah, I really felt like it was that made it feel like it was a movie from the 60s, the 70s, early 70s, maybe.
Whereas the scene where the boyfriend of the archaeologist's daughter, or friend or whatever, I think he was trying to get with her, but she wasn't really with him. When he does the full-on change, and his head comes out really long, I remember thinking, oh, this is just like Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
That level there reminded me a lot of Beetlejuice, which is another amazing movie for a horror comedy. Mm-hmm. And that's an absolute gem of a movie.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking, that's kind of cool, but the dancing girlfriend part was really cheeseball. The other thing that I thought was kind of interesting was how quickly he was able to kill his girlfriend in this movie than he was... his sister and his girlfriend, he was basically fuck, fine.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it's literally she jumps at him and he's like, shovel, heads off, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Next.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, oh, shucks.
Yeah. Sorry.
Good thing I got Roadhead.
Honestly, I did love you. Oh, I'll take that necklace back.
Yeah. Take the necklace back and, you're biting my hand! That part was, I didn't like that part because he spent a long time beating the fuck out of the head to get it off.
Well, that's the thing with Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. They bring in this crazy slapstick style now. And some of the scenes run too long.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they do the same thing with Army of Darkness in one
it's
scene.
worse in Army of Darkness.
Yeah. Where it's just like, okay, we can end now.
Yeah, and that's
it's still going.
That's how I felt with
still
the
going.
head scene.
Okay.
So, like I said, like, even though the story I think is better, and Ash's is better in this one, some of it you're just like, are you kidding? Because it was like almost 10 minutes of him trying to get the head off.
Yeah.
Right. But they didn't really do anything to add more suspense to it. Like, it was just like, she's here, that's it. Don't show any of her, like, continuing to consume the hand. It's just she's on it, and then he can't get her off, right?
Yeah.
But that does lead to one of the cooler scenes, like when he puts her head in the vice, and now she's back to talking, and is basically like, yeah, we're gonna fuck you up.
Yeah. Very cool.
You're never gonna get. And I thought that was really cool, and I liked the scene where his hand starts to go black, because it was exactly like how his girlfriend in the previous movie, her ankle started to go, and then that's how she changed.
Right, yeah.
So then he makes the horrible decision to cut his hand off, but still, like, why wouldn't you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in my review I might not think Evil Dead 2 is as good. I may actually have to defer to Evil Dead 1. But
it's just,
well, there was the other part too, like when Henrietta starts to change as she's trying to get out of the basement, and they're stomping on it, and then, like, they're squeezing her head, and the eye pops out, and the girlfriend swallows it.
Yeah.
And I remember just being like, oh, why? Like, oh, that's not even funny. That's just gross. But she doesn't change until much later.
Yeah.
I would have thought if you swallowed a Deadite's eyeball, you're fucking changing.
That should be like an auto change.
Like, immediately, try to puke it out.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like, oh,
well, that eye just went in my stomach, but I feel okay.
give me that beer.
Yep.
Give me that beer. Gotta chug.
Let's move on.
Gotta wash this thing down.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm like, let's fucking vomit.
Yeah.
The other part, though, again, like, what I do like is, with this one, they do a really good job of having him go nuts in this one, too.
Oh, he goes fucking crazy in this.
Like, with that
the laughing
deer.
Scene. The laughing deer?
Yeah, that whole laughing scene is actually really
It's a really funny scene. It goes, again, a little too long.
I like that part, though, because...
But I laugh at that.
They don't play that one for laughs so much as they're playing...
Like, he's just going crazy.
Yeah.
He's going crazy.
You know?
It's funny. It doesn't have the slapstick, like, goofiness to it.
There's a handful of slapstick, and it's enough for me to go, like, you can see where they go with Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Because, like, a fun fact, we talked about The Good Place, I watched the Army of Darkness first. That was the first one I'd ever seen. And then I watched Evil Dead 1 and 2 with you that time.
Okay.
So that was it.
Yeah, and I didn't watch Army of Darkness until after we watched those two movies.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I had an Army of Darkness poster on my wall when I was a kid.
I know. I'm thinking
Remember
about this.
Poster?
I was going to call you out, but I was like, you know what?
Badass poster.
Oh, it's fucking sweet. He's all posed out with his boomstick.
Yeah, it's actually...
Fucking...
Where is it again? I think it's the cover art underneath there. Boom.
Yes!
That.
He's got the broad.
That was the poster.
Yeah. How could you not think that's badass?
I was like 10, 11 years old, had that poster on my wall.
It's fucking great, though.
Yeah.
Plot-wise, it is virtually the same. You know,
I mean,
it's kind of got recording.
Yeah,
they play the recording. The recording's the reason why it comes out. This one, I like how they introduce the other characters. Like, they're coming in with the remaining pages of the Necronomicon. I like that they actually call it the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the book actually looked the coolest in this one, too. Like, the style of it. I love the way it looked in the first movie, too. My least favorite look for it is Army of Darkness, because it looks different in every film. Yeah,
actually, I think Evil Dead 2 looked the coolest. It looked like an actual book.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And they did a good job of making it look like it was made out of human skin, and not just fucking rubber.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually really, and I forgot this happened too, but I like the scene right at the beginning where the Force actually takes over Ash.
Yeah.
So he's in the water,
like, right
and then he gets up.
It's like right close to the beginning. Of the
movie.
movie.
Like right at the beginning, he gets up, and then he's all just deadite.
Yeah.
But it's like the beginning of the day, so he turns right back. I was like, oh fuck, that's really cool that they went that route. And then even later on in the movie, he does it again. I was like, oh, like they did some really cool stuff with him. I didn't expect him to be at Deadite that many times. Like I forgot all about that. So they do a lot of really cool stuff. But I do like how he does like get up there. Like he's literally like, okay, my hands off. All right, let's fucking get to the workshop.
Yeah.
Strap that bad boy on. And then, like, it's all cool and it's cocked into it, so he's just like, kaboom! You know, like, Cavill did the shotgun arms, Ash did it first, and he was revving a chainsaw, you know? And then this first action is to saw off the double-barrel shotgun. I was like, fuck, that's sweet.
Yep.
That's so awesome.
I never realized it until recently watching them. Because, like, you know, Campbell today is a little bigger, right? Like, round-faced. Yeah. More than he was back then. But, like, his facial expressions and everything are pretty much dead on the same to Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, exactly. Like he's a rubber face, too.
He didn't get credit for that.
No.
Everyone talked about Jim Carrey. I thought about Jim Carrey growing up. Like, he was my hero, right?
Yeah.
But now watching, like, Bruce Campbell, like, I've always loved Bruce Campbell. Watching the older stuff where he was a little thinner and he had the same physique as Jim Carrey at the time. Like,
oh, yeah.
Pretty much, they could have played brothers in the 90s.
He was actually in really good shape in Evil Dead 2. Like, in really good shape. I was like, oh, shit, he's got...
In Army of Darkness, he was pretty...
He was actually in pretty good shape in both of them. I would say the second one is, I think, probably the best one, just... I don't know, just because, like, he just kind of had that Bruce Lee vibe going for him, you know?
Yeah.
The acting is a lot better in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, with that budget, they can hire some real actors,
that's true.
Right?
Like, the acting is better. The special effects are obviously better. I actually really like the scene where the trees are beating the shit out of the house. I thought that was really cool.
That's an awesome scene.
Because that's, like, immediately I was thinking, like, how the fuck did they do that? You know, like... I couldn't figure out how they were doing it. Like, the only way that made sense to me was if it was, like, an actual diorama.
Yeah.
And then they were just, like...
That's possible.
That's possible. But I was watching it last night, and I don't think that's how they did it. I almost think that they were literally, like, they had tree branches on ropes.
Could have been, like, animatronics, right? Like Stan Winston
Could
style.
have been. Because they probably spent a really pretty penny on that initial tree.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But, I remember the part with the redneck and his girlfriend. When they introduced them, I was just kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And they also almost did a tree rape scene. That's right.
Well, I mean, they kind of lead to it, right?
They were,
without showing it.
They were leading to it, and then they got smart, and they went, no, we'll just have the tree eater. Because again, like, for me, that actually makes more sense that this tree would just be like kill them as opposed to, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So how you feeling about Evil Dead 2 now, if you're talking about it?
I still like it. I don't know.
No, you know what? I don't hate the movie by any means. Like, I love the trilogy as a whole. Evil Dead 2 is my least favorite.
I think it's because, like, when you're in the moment, you're like, yeah, it's actually really cool. And I just came off the Evil Dead as well. Mm-hmm. And I remember even when I first watched it, liking Evil Dead 2 more so. I think part of it is because of the budget. It looks nicer. Yeah. But, I mean, the thing is, for me, though, is that they're two different movies.
They are.
Okay? Like, they're a reboot quill, obviously. But this one is played as a horror flick. Yeah. This is a horror flick. It's just inadvertently funny. Yeah. This is now a movie that's trying to be funny while also trying to be scary. Mm-hmm. Okay? Budget-wise, they lose out on the griminess. Okay? Even though, like, in some of it, like, they looked really cool. Like, when the boyfriend was floating, and he's literally like, there's nothing to do. Right. You know, we're gonna get the book and take over the world and stuff. He looked really cool there, and then I love the the stop motion thing when he starts to really get up there. Story wise, I like it better. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, it is a better movie, but it's also a different kind of movie. Now we're getting into more of a horror comedy. Yeah, it's a lot more comedy than horror, I think, actually, because I think it loses a lot of its scariness by having that comedy in it. Yeah, I remember the first time that when they chased Ash through the house. Yep. And he's going through all the houses. That's an amazing shot, though. That's an absolutely I was impressed in the first movie. Shot I was impressed to do that all in one take. I was impressed with the tracking shot in the first movie with the water and stuff. Yeah. They go through the walls and in through the house. To go through the house. Yeah. From outside of the house, all around the house to find a cubby So you're in there,
Yeah.
and then to go through that, but then once the Force sends him into the bush, and he starts doing that almost stop motion flipping around, and he's got the weird facial expressions. I mean, now it's like, okay, you're supposed to laugh, and there's a couple of things. I found him funnier as a character with his lines, though. I mean, fuck, when he said groovy for the first time, I was like, nice. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, this is the start of, like...
Of Ash Williams as we know him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I also like the book. The first movie was kind of just like this.
It was just
a prop. It was a prop.
That's right. This one
gives it a mythology, like a story behind it.
Oh, also, I liked that the Sumerian sword was the same one in both movies.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot, actually. And I liked how it had the skeletons as a handle, but they're actual skeletons. And I thought, I was like, that's just gross. Like, that's the kind of thing where you'd have to be a sick fuck to be like, this is the sword that I have. Literally, miniature skeletons and stuff. Like, I wouldn't want to touch that.
No.
But I liked that was the same. And I agree, like, I liked that it's actual book. Yeah. And then the pages that they needed to right the wrong was in the book.
Yeah. You learn more about the history behind it and everything, and then obviously dive right into that history with Army of Darkness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, so my least favorite in the trilogy, but still one that I enjoy.
Yep.
Just not as much.
Okay.
Not as much.